He's going for the corner. He's got it. Vince Young scores.
And that is the answer to our trivia question. So the trivia question was, whose final game as a broadcaster was the 2006 Rose Bowl? And Travis, what's the answer?
Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson was the voice of the Rose Bowl seemingly forever.
How old was he in that?
In that game, I'd have to look it up, and my guess is about 80, give or take. I couldn't swear to it, but
how are you that good at 80?
Was amazing, and what a again, like we talk about with Scully, that when you have the right call at the right time, and you don't know Kirk Gibson's going to hit that home run. You don't know that Vince Young is going to do that in that. You knew that it was possible because he'd been killing them all night long, but it was just the perfect call at the perfect time in arguably the greatest college football game ever played. He was just a legend.
Yeah.
I believe, I could be wrong, I believe he might have been the one that coined the phrase, the granddaddy of them all, for the Rose Bowl. I think that might have been one of his as well. So Keith Jackson is the answer.
I went to... So January 2nd was the Rose Bowl parade, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year was the 2nd. When I think I've told you this before. My girl lives 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute walk, and you're on Colorado.
Okay.
So, and she's got it on, and it's probably like 8:30, 9 in the morning, something like that. She's got it on TV, and we had seen the night before. Just obviously everybody setting up and. People already camping out and doing whatever they're going to do because they want to be there for the parade. I think I cheated basically because at 9 o'clock I'm like, I had never been.
Did you just walk down?
I had never been.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what am I doing? I'm go walk 10 minutes. Go 10 minutes. She comes with me. Take Rook with us. Couple drum sets. He's out of there. He's like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. No, it was loud.
Yeah.
But I just get in the get right on Colorado. Go from Mentor, Colorado, and then I'm on, and I just literally walk like 2 blocks, and I sit there for 10 minutes, and I feel bad because people have been sitting there. They got their full setup, their chairs, their blankets, their breakfast, everything set up. I'm holding a coffee mug, and I'm like, okay, that was pretty good, and then I just walk right back.
I growing up in Arcadia, and I don't want to ruin anybody that may be thinking about doing this at one point in their life. Growing up in Arcadia, which everybody knows, the very next city to the east of Pasadena, right? Mm-hmm. And the parade basically ends right before it goes into Arcadia, a mile or so away. And as a young person growing up in that area, you would hear all the older kids in the neighborhood. Hey, they would go and on New Year's Eve, they'd spend all night on Colorado Boulevard. They'd hang out with their friends, and they'd bring sleeping bags and sleep on the sidewalk, and they'd watch the parade. And it sounded like the most fun thing in the world that the older kids get to high school kids and all these things and go spend the night and watch the parade. One time, I finally talked my folks into letting me do it. I think I was a junior in high school.
To stay the night?
To spend the night on Colorado Boulevard and watch the parade the next morning. And really all you want to do is run around and
hang around with your buddies.
And hang with your buddies and all this stuff. I don't know if I've ever had less fun in my entire life.
This is why you've never gone camping since.
I don't know. First of all, it was like 30 degrees. It was so cold. It was so miserable. And then what happens is, Slee, I don't know if anybody knows this about the Rose Parade. It's a parade. Horses, bands, people waving.
My man.
But it's like
candy.
It's
okay,
not.
Listen.
That's the whole point.
Wait.
It's not. It's pretty. The floats are very, very pretty.
Yes.
But it's boring.
Okay, wait. Let's leave it at this, Trev. Let's leave it as, even if you're somebody that says, hey, I'm going to turn it on TV, okay? Spend 10 minutes, okay? I kind of feel like I've seen pretty much what I needed to see.
Yeah.
Walking out there, and I'm with you. The night before, I was running a couple errands.
big.
I'm doing whatever. I'm running a couple. People are set up. They're already closing off the streets. I'm like, you guys are staying out here?
Ow.
It was 9 p.m. or something. I'm like, you guys are staying out here for 16 hours for this? And when I walked through it, and I'm like whistling on my way back, I'm like, yeah, it's enough of that. That should do it.
It was, so you're out there having fun. You see, your buddies and some girls, and hey, you talk. Now it's 10 o'clock, and you're having a good time. It's midnight. Yay! Old Lang Syne plays, and maybe you get lucky and get to kiss a girl and all this stuff, but it's fun. And then it's 12:30. And now there's 8 hours to go until the next thing happens. And it's freezing. And then it finally happens. And here comes a high school marching band. With all due respect, I can go to a high school football game and see that. It's very pretty. It's something you should see once, but my goodness, at the end of the day, it's a parade. I'm good.
What a buzzkill we are.
It was. I'm just. Can we please go home? Let's just leave. Let's just get out of here. Let's just please. I need to warm up. I think I'm going to freeze to death.
I was there from 9:03 to 9:17, and I had the same thing. It was 14 minutes. I'm like, I should do it. That's about enough.
Travis, did all the children have their shoes?
So Emily sends me a text January 2nd, the morning of. We're getting ready to load into the car to go to the Rose Bowl. You sent it to me a little bit later in the day, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know, 11 or so.
I think you sent me a selfie, and then I responded to the selfie with that.
Yes, and so, like, did Bobby remember his shoes? I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I bet you 10 different people texted me New Year's or on the 2nd this year. Hey, enjoy the game. Make sure Bobby has his shoes. That just everybody now knows that he's the kid that leaves the house without shoes.
I'm actually very disappointed that he's bringing shoes now.
He got into the car barefoot.
Right into it.
And I'm like, you have them? Yeah. I'm going to need to see them before I pull out of the driveway. He's 22. It was the day after his 22nd birthday. I'm gonna physically need to see that.
It's like checking for keys or a wallet. You have to physically touch it.
Before we drove away that night, it's like, all right, I need to see everybody's phone. Don't tell me you have it. I kind of need to see it because once we drive out of here, we're never finding it again. And it's way to ring in the new year.
Yep. Speaking of Rose Bowl, I'm going to give this another trivia question coming up. What?
I just know.
Oh, you know the answer. All right. So, how many Heisman finalists were playing in the 2006 Rose Bowl? So, how many 2005 Heisman finalists were playing in the 2006 Rose Bowl? And so, we'll answer that on the other side.
I think I know that one too. The answer is a lot because there were a lot of really good football players in that game, and we got the game maybe of all time. Plus, the first 2023 Ask Slee. 877-710 ESPN. 877-710-3776. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded? Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPN LA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPN LA app.
Download the new ESPN LA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Hey, Rams fans, Travis Rogers here. You have got to get the new ESPN LA app. In fact, let's go down to the locker room and get a little help.
What's up, Rams fans? This is Matthew Stafford. React to the Rams on the new ESPN LA app.
This is Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. Listen to all your Rams talk on the ESPN LA app.
You are just one tap away from Rams All Access. Travis and Slee, Mason and Ireland, and Sedano and Cap. Download it now on the App Store or Google Play.
for 2023. Ask Slee. What a moment. I know Slee's excited for the new year and for a new year of Ask Slee. Don't forget, you can hear Ask Slee Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays right at this time, around 10:45, 10:50 in your morning. And Ask Slee this morning is presented by Harrah's Resort SoCal, voted best resort in Futter, California. From dining to unwinding, a trip to Futter, California is always a win. Are you game for a getaway? Start planning your trip by visiting harrahssocal.com. Let's get to it. Ask Slee for a new year right now on Travis and Sliwa.
All right, we got some good Ask Slees coming up here in just a second. Very quickly, 2 quick tweets here, Al.
Okay.
This is from Big Mase 3000. I grew up in Monrovia, and you are 1,000,000% right about the Rose Parade. One and done, hashtag miserable. Soulless Digital writes, I could not agree with you more about the parade, a true sleep fest. The crazy thing is, you know how much I love the Rose Bowl game.
Yep.
Going and spending the whole day.
Tradition for you and the fam.
It's great, and I look forward to it every year. And the thing that is, I don't know, half a mile away, never again. Never one
I think doing it once, I'm happy I went, and then I was back by 9:18.
That sounds about right.
Fine.
Jason Torres with the first Ask Slee of 2023 writes, Happy New Year, Al. What was your favorite event in American Gladiators?
I'm trying to think here. When they're doing the
hand bike?
Is that what it's called? I don't know what it's called.
Do this thing?
No, not that. Oh, the hand bike was good.
That looked hard as hell.
All hard. But when they're hanging from one, they're just going from the ropes that are hanging down. You got the bars.
Yeah.
And when it kind of started getting close, right? And one guy doesn't get like the other ring that he needs to get.
Wasn't the other guy chasing him?
Chasing him. So like the momentum of one guy coming this way and the other guy not catching it in time, and they catch him there. Now you got all your weight. You got the other dude's weight, and you're holding on, and he's just ripping him off. That was pretty damn exciting.
That is a very, very good one. There were two that I especially
forgot about the bike.
No, the hand bike looked literally impossible. Like you could be strong enough to do such a thing. The one where they had like the paper door and you had to go charging through it, and there would be a gladiator. You just didn't know which side he was going to be on. So you'd either come through full speed and there'd be nobody there and you'd go tumbling, or you'd hit nitro and just absolutely like you hit a brick wall. That was great.
They brought that back? Is it still going on?
No, it's been gone for a while. And then
so American Ninja Warrior is similar in a way.
Yeah, but there's not someone trying to take you out.
Exactly.
It's just a test of your own strength.
Show some respect to American Gladiators, okay?
2 quick things on American Glad. Number one, the best game for me. Do you remember it was the obstacle course where one of the gladiators had that cannon that shot racquetballs at people?
Yes.
That was amazing.
Yes, that's a good one.
Where they'd like
Man,
hunt
I haven't
the guy
gone back
and
and
boom,
watched.
boom, boom, and shoot racquetballs, and if you got hit with the racquetball, you were out. That was amazing. I worked with the guy that created American Gladiators.
Wow.
Let's just say he lives in a very nice house in Westwood. That he came up with the idea and put the whole thing together. Yeah, not a bad way to do it. Your favorite gladiator was whom?
I need help with the characters, man. It's been a long time.
I only remember Nitro. It's the only one I remember. He had like
it's funny
long,
when you
hair.
say that right immediately. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I remember that guy. I need more names.
They were all named Nitro. Nitro 1, Nitro 6.
I think I would go WWF and then American Gladiators, and it's like, okay, there's my night.
Never a wrestling guy. Glad I love
Razor
Gladiators.
Ramon's coming out. Jake the Snake.
When Slee knows there's going to be live streaming, does he lay his clothes out the night before? Hashtag Ask Slee.
So I think in the beginning when we started doing live streaming, maybe we'd think about it more. I don't know where you are in the live streaming world. Now I pay zero attention because we're on live stream all the time. So it's like, well, what do you want me to do? Okay? It's supposed to be radio. I'm going to come in dressed as radio. And if somebody looks and sees that I haven't shaved in a while, what are you going to do?
Lay out your trucker hat the night before.
What are you going to do?
You following me, camera guy?
I will occasionally audible out of a hoodie that I have that maybe has a little bit of a food stain on it, just because it's a little too on brand.
Go black.
Occasionally,
You're good.
Yeah, this is new. This is the one that I got from Tommy because the day I forgot my clothes and I had to shop out of the promo closet to put together a wardrobe.
That's not good for Tommy because I could see you be forgot again. You're just gonna have.
How I feel about half zips. It's
You have
like
80% of your
my
gear
wardrobe.
is ESPN LA.
I will rep any sort of 710 product if it's in half.
But it's good
zip
product,
form.
too.
It is good product. All right, this is from Christopher Holmes. Slee makes it to the NBA. Are you a headband guy, a full sleeves guy, a baggy or short shorts guy, tattoo guy, a bald guy, or a Caruso bald eagle guy, high socks, low socks, or no socks? There's too much there.
So I'll just maybe describe.
Yeah, here, let's. Yeah.
Yeah,
What would your
I'll
get-up
do
be?
this. First, yes, I am a bald guy because I'm a bald guy. Headband, playing basketball, I never wore a headband, so I don't think I'll be wearing a headband. If I got to pick between high shorts and long shorts, 100% high shorts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean the long shorts you can't. I can't move.
So you're going to go John Stockton instead of Chris Webber.
If I have to pick between John Stockton and Gerald Wallace, who's that guy? I think that was one of the players. Or Iverson, I'm going to go. God, John Stockton's really high. Do I have to be that high?
Well, those are the extremes.
Can I get like the
Fab Five were the first guys to go really long, right? And then John Stockton is the
high shorts over low. Let's put it that way. I'm going.
Do you have the legs to pull off the Stocktons?
No, I have hairy legs. So
you do.
You should wear it.
Yeah, maybe I do have the legs.
You should,
maybe that is
wear
a thing.
like NBA short
high
shorts
socks or low socks. I'd probably go. I might as well go high socks now. I'm already going high. My shorts are so high, I got to cover some part of my legs, so I'm going high socks.
If you went long shorts with long socks, there'd be no skin.
Can't see anything.
It'd be like wearing leggings.
No, I want to show skin. I want to throw off the defender.
So what else did we have in that? We had, I lost it.
Well, you said the headband. I wouldn't do the headband.
No. Goggles?
I'm not doing
tattoos, sleeve.
Tattoos, no. But the goggles, I wouldn't even need them, but I'd wear them just because.
Wear them on the bench?
Just because. How easily
rip-away
are you pointed out by this guy that got the goggles on? James Worthy had goggles on.
I would wear every piece of equipment that they offered me. I'll just you want socks? Yes. You want wristbands? Yes. Headbands? Yes. Goggles?
You can't wear knee pads.
Knee pads? Yes. I'd wear leggings and high socks and long shorts. So it'd be like under what's it called, the stuff that the farmers wear underneath their clothes.
What are you worried about? You're not going to go. You're not getting past the 3-point line on both sides.
Yeah, I like to stay warm. I'm not going to be running a lot, so I like to
blow it into your head.
Exactly right.
His air conditioning's on.
Our first Ask Slee on the phones of the year. Brian in Oxnard. # Ask Slee. What do you got, Brian?
Should people who voluntarily walk around the street in public barefoot be given a citation? And what does Ellen Sliwa think about people that are very dirty like that?
All right, barefoot. Yeah, listen, there's certain places it's okay to be barefoot. All right, certain places.
The beach.
Yeah. Home.
Sure.
Right?
Pool deck.
If you're a pool deck, if you're going to go get the mail, that's probably the furthest that you should go barefoot, right?
And
at your mailbox.
Be careful.
And be careful. Be careful that you don't step on anything, right? That should kind of be the end right there. It should be your mailbox. That should be kind of the perimeter. After that, why don't you have shoes on or flip-flops on or anything like that? When I see people, when you're just like walking in public and somebody just walking barefoot, I don't, and they're holding their flip-flops or they're holding their shoes.
I'm choosing not to.
Understand what's going on.
You mentioned being barefoot in the house. You should not come to my house barefoot, and here's why.
Well, I shouldn't be at your house barefoot, but you should be at your house barefoot.
No, nobody in the house should be barefoot, and here's the reason why. So I get up, I don't know what it was, one of the days that we weren't working, and I walk into the kitchen to make a cup of coffee. And as I walk by the refrigerator, the floor is super sticky. I'm looking around, I don't really see anything super obvious, and so I go about my day. I don't think about it too much. Because
Bobby's friend left the beer and it spilled over.
And I'm not cleaning the floor at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'll get to it later. Bobby comes down later. He's like, hey, the floor's all sticky. What happened here? And I'm like, I don't know. You didn't do it? He goes, no. And he goes, there's a huge piece of glass on the ground. And I'm like, where? He pulls up a piece of glass. It's like this big, right? It's a good couple inches long.
Jesus.
He looks, now you start looking around. There's glass all over the floor. And finally, Michael gets up at 1 or whatever it is. Hey, did you spill something last night? Yeah, I dropped the jar of cherries, but I cleaned it up. Your feet are sticking to the floor. There's giant chunks of glass all over the kitchen floor, and his idea of cleaning it up was like one swipe of a paper towel.
That's like a danger zone. That's like a crime scene right there.
Just eating cherries by himself.
I think they were making sundaes. I think he had his friends over
Can you
there
imagine
making
just
sundaes.
waking up in the morning and trying to just go have a cup of coffee?
I don't know how I didn't see it. It wasn't like it's like, when something breaks, you get those little teeny tiny pieces.
Yeah.
It looked like an Indian arrowhead. It was huge. I don't know how I missed it. Bobby's like,
It's a
"There's
weapon
glass
used in World War
everywhere."
II.
Didn't clean it up. Just one swipe of a paper towel, and the cherry stuff's not sticky at all. So that was.
At least he got up at 1 to explain everything.
No, I cleaned it up. No, you didn't. You absolutely did.
Should I eat the egg?
Yeah, I learned to not wear bare feet or not be barefoot around the house because I once recently stepped on my roommate's cat's
Stuff?
throw up, and that was no, wearing shoes around the house from now on.
That'd be the last day that cat's around. I just, or I'm moving. No. Come
Cats
on,
do that.
clean up after your cat. I understand. I'm not blaming the cat. I'm blaming the cat.
I'm blaming
owner.
the cat. I'm looking at the cat. The hell is this?
The cat doesn't know how to get to the bathroom.
Look at me.
Teach the cat how to use the box for its vomit.
Slee, I have an ask Slee for you. So,
What do you got?
how many finalists were playing the 2006 Rose Bowl, and can you name them?
Okay, I think it's three.
Heisman finalists.
3, right?
Yes, 3 is correct.
So Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, and Vince Young.
Ding, ding, ding. You
Yeah.
got it right. That one was kind of easy. I have another one that's a little harder later on.
That was a game. Like, you go back, I think NFL Films has a documentary on it. There was a 30 for 30 on it as well. The amount of NFL talent in that game is
Why
as much
why
as you've
did
ever
you
seen.
pick that game for the trivia?
It's the anniversary today.
Today?
Oh, today's
January
the
4th,
anniversary of it?
2006.
Yep.
You had set it up for its trivia, and I'm like, well, she's picking this game specifically? This is the anniversary? By the way, that I think is the same game that I want to say you, Mason, and Ireland have all said that's the greatest sporting event.
It's the second greatest thing I've ever seen. And
think
it's
they had said
very
it's their-
close to
it's
the
their
only thing
favorite.
I saw that was more exciting and shocking and just completely unexpected was Tyson Holyfield won, where
That's just
where Evander
Yeah,
knocked Mike out, and Evander was out of the hospital, right? They had the heart thing, and it's like, oh, they shouldn't even sanction this fight, and Evander just chopped him down, just
the
absolutely
fact that
ripped his
you
ass.
said
It was terrific.
Tyson Holyfield. Yeah, I'm done.
The first one,
There's
not the
no
one
other
where he
conversation.
bit him, the one where he just pummeled him for however long it took to finally put him down.
I also have a piece of update from Adam Schefter.
About Damar Hamlin?
It's about the Bills' games going forward. So
All right.
we can do it on the other side.
We'll get that when we come back. Plus, Trevor Bauer is back, Slee.
Speaking of Tyson.
Yeah, I know, we all got one. It's very exciting. It's very exciting.
Speaking of Iron Mike.
Trevor Bauer is back with the Dodgers. Kinda? What do they do with that? That's coming up. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPN LA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPN LA app.
Download the new ESPN LA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Lakers Countdown to Tip-Off with Slee. Tip-off at 7 p.m. Hear it all right here on 710 ESPN. Right now, continuing for your Wednesday, more of Travis and Sliwa.
All right, we'll continue to keep you up to date on any new developments regarding Damar Hamlin. He is still in the hospital in Cincinnati. He is still in critical condition. He is still sedated, but according to people that were briefed to speak on this, there have been some very small but promising steps forward. There have been things called promising readings. His oxygen levels have improved, and a promising signs of progress are some quotes that we've heard from members of his family and Jordan, who we heard from yesterday as well. So, cross your fingers, say your prayers. Hopefully these are good signs. But like we talked about yesterday, Al, the doctor that they had on KJ&M was saying that this is pretty typical for an injury like this, that there can be several days where you don't get a ton of really concrete information.
Yeah, and we're all, obviously any type of news that is geared towards some type of positivity is obviously exciting. I will give you a quick little update. So we did this yesterday. Talked about that Damar Hamlin, that fundraiser that he has.
Right. Was it when we left? Yes, it was 4.6. Is that what it was?
4.6 yesterday. Yeah. And even Emily had mentioned it that by Monday night, Tuesday morning, whatever it was like just over 1 million, right? That's when it was just kind of getting going and people were starting to recognize it. 6.49 million right now. 209,000 donors.
So just a shade under 2 million from about 24 hours ago more has been donated. It's
kind of crazy. You hit, and I've done this, I was doing it yesterday, hit refresh on that like a half hour later, and it's like up a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
That's very cool. That is a great outcome, an incredibly scary situation. We'll keep you up to speed on any news regarding Damar Hamlin that comes down between now and the end of the show. I know Mason and Ireland and Sedano and Cap, they'll keep you up to speed as well. There is a little bit of the football news in all of this as well. Adam Schefter just tweeted a few minutes ago, and he wrote, NFL exec Jeff Miller said discussions about what to do with the Bills-Bengals game are ongoing. He knows they have to make a decision on it, quote, in the coming days, close quote. NFL executive Troy Vincent explains that the league's focus has been on Damar Hamlin, as it should be. Damar Hamlin's health is obviously the thing that at the forefront of all of our memories, or our minds, I should say. But, and it's a huge but, and I'm not trying to equate any of these, so just to be crystal clear, I'm not saying that this is as important as the other. I'm not. But at some point, you have to figure out when to conclude that game if you're going to conclude that game. Even if this had happened a week ago, you still have enough time left in the NFL calendar to kind of shoehorn that game in there. Season ends on Sunday, presumably. Maybe you could play that game a week later, push the playoffs back a week, take out that week between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl. Maybe you scrub this weekend schedule. The NFL's already said they're not going to do that. But this is a game that affects a whole bunch of different teams as far as where they go, who they play, whether they play or not. You kind of have to find a way to get this thing done. I don't know how you do it. It's an incredibly complicated logistics puzzle.
So I do think that I think it's going to figure itself out, and you know that there's enough people that are behind the scenes right now just playing out scenarios. We talked about this yesterday. It was all just going to come down to the timing of it. When it's time to figure it out, they're going to figure it out. And I think it will get worked out, and I think for those who are thinking about obviously the NFL schedule or the playoffs or this, they will find a way to figure it out, and it will get done. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the Bills-Bengals game specifically. You and I were kind of just chatting about this, and it's, you have an extra week between the Super Bowl. Maybe they do something there. And I'm talking about just kind of moving everything a week out, and then you just don't have that extra week. But it sounds like we'll get clarity on all that in the next couple of days.
There have been circumstances where you don't have that extra week between the conclusion of the conference championship games and the Super Bowl. It just those games are played on Sunday, and then the following Sunday the Super Bowl is played. So there is precedent to use that week for other things along the way. And look, I guess this is an option too. The NFL, I'm sure, would prefer not to have this be the option. Maybe you just don't play it. Maybe you have two teams that have 16 games on their schedule and everyone else has 17. Go by winning percentage or come up with something, because I understand that somebody somewhere, a team, I shouldn't say a somebody, some team is going to be on the outside looking in because if that happens. I'm sure that there's somebody that gets the short end of the stick there. Is anybody really going to raise a whole bunch of hell over it? I don't think so. I don't think so either.
And it kind of goes back to the decision on Monday of, if there was discussion or if there was conversation, hey, do they continue the game? Do they not? Obviously, they do not, and they did not. I think that's kind of a good example of everybody who was there understood the situation. If you were a fan at the game, you understood the situation, and everybody just kind of had it in their mind. All right, let's make sure that hopefully, obviously Damar Hamlin's okay, and that's the number one priority. Everything else will figure itself out.
We talked with Kirk yesterday. We talked with DeMarco yesterday about this, and
loved their insight too.
It was terrific. At some point, the Buffalo Bills players are going to have to put on uniforms again. They're going to have to go back to practice. They're going to have to go back on that field. They're going to have to play. And I can't. You say the phrase, I can't imagine. I can't imagine, like in the most literal sense of that phrase. I don't know how you just say, all right, one of my brothers, one of my teammates is in very serious medical trouble, but I have to just go and do the thing that put him in this case in the first. I can't wrap my head around that.
Can I just give you an example? I think we've all had, personal loved ones, family members who've been sick or anything along those lines. Nobody's saying to themselves, I had a couple of days, I'm just going to go back to work.
Yeah.
If you're trying to put yourself in that perspective, it's impossible. And you might even be just kind of in a situation where you're there physically, you're not there mentally.
Yeah.
You're not. And that's, by the way, I don't think anything is, if the Buffalo Bills ended up playing this weekend, and even some of those Cincinnati Bengals players, and even other players that just represent the NFL and are just watching it, there's many of them that will maybe be there physically and not be there mentally.
And having to be the guys, that the players and the coaching staffs and the friends and family are obviously the ones bearing the brunt of this, but just trying to be the person to put all of this together, to figure it out, to try to serve as many different entities as you can, the teams, the television networks. There's just so many different things going on in this, and you just keep coming back to simply just figure it out, right? But somebody has to. That you and I, somebody will do it. The somebody, it's an incredibly complex puzzle to try to put together.
Yeah. What's today? Wednesday? What do you think by... Actually, I have no idea. I'm not going to say, by Thursday, by Friday.
But I get it. It's a weird question to ask, but I think it's the right question to ask because you have to have an answer by.
So let me ask you this:
tomorrow,
they got
Friday
games,
at the latest.
They got, was it 2 games on Saturday?
Yeah,
and then the full slate of games on Sunday. Yeah, you're right that there will probably be some type of clarity, and we don't know what that clarity is. And again, this kind of also goes back to the situation with Damar Hamlin, who's still in critical condition, right? Like that's another thing. It's not that we might have got a little bit of positive news, and I don't even know what that means. When somebody said you feels good that you're getting a little bit of positive news, but we don't know a week from today, 2 weeks from today, what is his condition? How is he looking? So I don't know how much that also plays into effect to it. I don't have that answer. I
don't think anybody does, and you're just going to kind of fly by the seat of your pants over the course of the next couple of weeks. And once the playoffs, I don't want to say anybody's going to forget. Nobody's going to forget, but eventually they're going to play football. Yeah. They're going to play football this weekend, and I do not know. I do not know how you go back, especially if you're a member of the Buffalo Bills. And I maybe not quite the same, but very, very close. They're right there. Yep. I mean, they were on the field when somebody was in incredible amount of distress the way that Damar Hamlin was yesterday or a couple of days ago. And to just say, all right, we got to go back. I got to make this tackle. I got to drop this defense. I got to run this route. I got to throw this pass.
Would you be surprised? I wouldn't be surprised at all if there's some players from, let's just say, the Buffalo Bills that say, I'm going to have to sit this one out this week.
Sure.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
No, and who would, I mean, everybody would understand.
You'd say, okay.
I wouldn't be surprised, and we'll see. I mean, again, this is what they do for a living, and this is what they're expected to do. But there are a handful of games. Greg and I were looking at the schedule this morning that there's 4 or 5, maybe 6 games where neither team is playing for anything. I mean, maybe there's some draft order stuff, but they're out of the playoffs. The opponent that they're playing is out of the playoffs. There isn't to want to go out there. Look, man, it's one. I just can't. And I would imagine that going out there and trying to play that sport with your heart and mind not fully in it is incredibly dangerous. That if you're just out there going through the motions, that's something that I wouldn't want anybody that I care about to go do. Just, protect yourselves at all times kind of situation. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of...
there's guys sitting for those teams where there's no implications. Is that what you're talking about?
Carolina Panthers and New Orleans Saints, right? That whatever. I think they have the exact same record. Everything about it is inconsequential. If they just said, "Look, man, I'm not playing today," I get it. I can't get that out of my mind. I can't get prepared. I can't be safe while I'm out there. I would certainly understand the impulse to not want to go do that. All right, let's go back and talk a little bit about the Lakers. It's been a weird since AD went down. The Lakers have been okay. As far as the record goes, they're 5-5 in their last 10. They got another one tonight.
Surprised they're 5-5
for sure.
3-2 on that road trip.
Amazing, and we didn't get a chance to talk about LeBron. Had some interesting comments over the break as well about hey, I didn't come here just to play basketball. I came here to win basketball. We'll do that next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ES.
All right, guys. It is National Trivia Day, and trivia is one of my favorite things. I just love learning random little nuggets about life. But
you've gotten fights over it.
I do. Today is the anniversary of the Rose Bowl between USC and Texas. So here's the next question regarding that game. How many draft picks were playing for USC that night? So
for SC?
Just for SC. That eventually players that went on to play in the NFL.
It's a lot. I remember. I don't know if it's double digits, but it's got to be close to that. If it's got to be like 9 or 10 or something like that.
I think that's probably low. So I have a qualifying question, Emily. Tell me if you know the answer to this or not. Are we talking about people that played in that game, or are we talking about guys that were on SC's roster for that game? Because I guarantee there's probably a freshman or two that really didn't play but turned out to be a really good player that made the league. So do you know the answer to that?
Played
in the game.
He trivia'd your trivia.
So
never seen that.
Your answer is probably about right.
I'll go 9.
I'm going to go slightly more because you figure there's 22 starters.
Yep.
Okay. You've got
how many ballers
you've got specialists. You've got backups that were NFL. I'm going to say 14.
11.
I will be on the other side.
All right. That's a lot.
I'll just
from
Google it then.
Well, think about it. They had the Heisman Trophy winner, Matt Leinart. They had the Heisman Trophy winner in Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
Lendell White was phenomenal.
Yep.
You had high-level NFL wide receivers, a lot of those offensive linemen, and that's just on one
You're
side.
probably right. It's probably closer to that number.
You know the guy, I could get this, he's going for the corner. He's got, you know who dives and just misses him?
Who's that?
Frosty Rucker, who played like 12 years in the NFL. It was crazy. They were loaded with NFL guys along the way.
Why was Reggie Bush laddering?
Al.
What, I still get. You know when I thought about that? You know what I thought about? I thought about that 2 weeks ago when the dude from the Patriots against the Raiders.
Yeah,
I know it's an extreme one, but I just remember that. I'm like, Reggie, what are you doing here, buddy?
So we sit more often than not. We had new seats this year. It was a little different. I didn't like it as much, but we usually sit in that's the southeast corner of the stadium. We're usually around the goal line on the southeast side. Mm-hmm. They're running towards that end zone, the southern end zone of the Rose Bowl,
Yep.
and Bush goes to lateral the ball, and everyone looks at us like, what is he doing? And it felt like they were just getting ready to run him off the field.
Yep.
It was just about that point where, all right, they're just a lot better than us, and they didn't score. And they just hung around long enough for Vince Young to be the best player in the building that night. I could talk about that game all day long. I really, truly could. It was one of the most exciting things I've ever seen in my life. All right, Lakers and Heat tonight.
Yeah.
The last time the Lakers and Heat played was when LeBron made his comments about, look, I just don't want to play. Mm-hmm. I want to play to win. I want to be on a team that's got a chance to win. It's not in my DNA to just be out here just to be out here. It was classic LeBron.
We got it too.
Do we have it here? Let's see here. Here it is.
I mean, I have multiple thoughts. I think about the day-to-day of obviously how we get better throughout the course of this season, but how we get better from game to game. I think about how much longer I'm going to play the game. I think about that I don't want to finish my career, playing at this level from a team aspect. I'm going to still be able to compete for championships because I know what I can still bring to any ball club with the right pieces.
All right, so that's incredibly unambiguous.
With any ball club with the right pieces.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I want to compete for a championship. I don't think anybody thinks that this Laker team is championship quality. They're probably doing a little bit better than anybody thought without Anthony Davis, but this does not feel like the best team in the NBA.
Yep.
He wants to be on a championship caliber team. He made it very clear that this is not what he signed up for, and yet he's going to be here for the rest of the year. You can't trade him by rule. After this season, I guess you could consider these things, but this is the first time it seemed like he would be willing to go somewhere else. We've talked about it a million times about do the Lakers say, hey, listen, thanks for the memories, but we got to go in a different. Now it seems like he's on board, at least potentially, with the idea of, hey, look, let's see what's out there for me as much as it is for you.
Well, let's kind of see how the Lakers got to this point. Here's a reality. Bron's 38 years old, Trav, and he's playing like he's 28. And I'm not being dramatic. I'm not. I watch him every single freaking night. And you go see, just in the month of December, month of December, he's like 35, 8, and 8.
Crazy.
Since Anthony Davis has been out, he's had really more of those numbers. He's been amazing. He's been great. And he's shooting over 50% from the field. I think Bron's frustration is, damn, I'm still doing it at this level. If I told you right now, pick your top 10 players in the NBA today, Bron is still in that conversation. Yeah. He is. And, 10th, 8th, 11th, wherever the hell you want to put him, he's in that conversation. I don't think he's in a tough spot because I don't think Bron's going to go anywhere. I don't. I even if LeBron wants to win that bad, I think there is something to, I moved my family out here. I'm living in Los Angeles. I already have a championship with the Los Angeles Lakers. But part of this is also on Bron too, right? Like the construction of the roster and the team is also
sure.
Listen, he's a player. I'm not telling you that he's the front office executive, but of course he's got incredible amount of power. He's LeBron freaking James. Mm-hmm. So that frustration, I get it coming from Bron because of the situation Lakers are in right now. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games. AD went through a stretch of the season where he looked like kind of as good as any of the other guys out there. And now he's out and you're not sure when he's going to come back. I guess what you hope and pray for is that these two, at one point this year, hopefully in the near future, can play together again. And they could go up against teams like the Milwaukee Bucks and Philly and Boston, and these are all close games. I just don't know when Anthony Davis is going to come back. We heard from AD for the first time on Friday, okay? And what I took away from that conversation is, AD, that pain threshold is a lot less. You know what? He kind of maybe got away with one. Maybe he thought it was going to be a lot worse of an injury. It's not. He had 5 different opinions on his leg, on his foot. But what I also walked away with, I don't think AD's coming back in a week. I think he's coming back in 2 weeks. It's probably going to be some time before Anthony Davis comes back. So I could tell the frustration of LeBron James, and I don't blame him because he's playing at a level that is really incredible at his age. I
don't blame anybody in this, but I think it really crystallized what I think needs to happen next. He doesn't want to be here. You don't say something like that if you are 1,000% committed to being here and rebuilding it here, right? Because the comments would be slightly different. This would be, I didn't come here to lose. I want to win another championship here. We need to do whatever it takes to win here. That you qualify it with that. As awesome as Anthony Davis was for that month stretch, the end result was very typical of what we've seen over the last couple of years, where Anthony Davis is on the rack again and will be for a while. When he comes back, we're going to be doing the exact
10
same
games,
thing.
probably misses another 10 easily.
I don't know. And when he comes back, we're all going to be holding our breath, waiting to see what the next thing is. I think this gives you a whole bunch of clarity on you need to figure out life after these two guys. You have to, because LeBron, you're right, still extraordinary, but he is at least looking around the room and seeing what else is out there. I don't need a guy like that in my deal. If you have a guy like Anthony Davis who's constantly one bad step away from missing a month of play, then I don't build my team around him either. That this is actually, in a weird way, very clarifying. Anthony Davis is an injury-prone player, unfortunately. LeBron James is still a very good player, but an aging player, and a guy that is clearly willing to at least entertain the possibility of going somewhere else. Let's see. Let's see what happens the rest of the way here. Yeah. Anthony Davis comes back, great. If they play together, great.
Maybe they get in the playing tournament and they're able to...
Maybe.
Yeah.
But this idea of constantly trying to cater to his needs when he's willing to look other places, well, I am too. If this is how you feel about me, then that's how I feel about you. It's very clarifying for me.
Couldn't it also just be as simple as this, as I'm playing at this level, AD was playing at a really good level, let's make some kind of tweak here. Mm-hmm. Don't go out. Nobody's saying go trade your 2027 and 2029. You know what's crazy with this entire season? You know the Lakers have the same amount of losses as, I want to say, Minnesota and Utah. They're technically in the 10th spot with all this that has happened. And I'm not trying to tell you that being in the 10th spot is a good thing. I'm not trying to tell you that making the playing term is a good thing. But it's kind of crazy that they're still in the mix with having the type of season that they've already had. They started out 2-10. All that kind of comes to it. And here's another part to just, if LeBron James, let's just say hypothetically, this year he can't go anywhere. He's got 2 years left on his contract. He's going to make $97 million over those 2 years. Even if he was willing to say, guys, let's find a trade partner. How do you even execute a trade where $50 million is going out?
Yeah.
Right? And another team's got to give $50 million or as close as they can to let's just say it's going to be difficult. And, Bron did have an opportunity. He didn't have to sign the extension. Did sign an extension with the Lakers.
Like, the team's not good. The team has not shown any indication that they've got a bunch of assets coming in.
Is it safe to say
it can't just be for the money? LeBron's already a billionaire.
Is it safe
the
to
money's
say,
available everywhere else? Why?
Why
when he could go, and he's done it before other places too, where he's gone year to year, right? That this is what he did with Cleveland for a long time.
All the time in Cleveland,
right? That's
always had an out.
I get it. It gives you maximum leverage. It puts pressure on ownership and management. And all. I understand why he's doing it. This one was not really necessary, and I don't quite get what he got out of this. The money, sure, but LeBron's got $1 billion in the bank, and $90 million is a lot of money. But it's not going to make or break LeBron's financial legacy.
I mean, it could have. The only thing I could think of is him just maybe before the season, his thought process was different, and now he's going through the grind of another season where maybe there's a reality of the situation, and I don't know if he's surprised what he's doing at age 38. I'm surprised what he's doing at age 38.
Sure. It's an that to me is a separate topic that they cross over at points, but as great as he's been at the second my wife says, I might think about dating other people. It's like, okay, we're done here. We're out. Because if that's how you feel about this, then I'm out. I don't need to convince you to come back.
I almost feel like, do you mind the comments? I don't mind the comments.
I don't mind them. They're clarifying. It's not that I mind them. It's like, you're not 100% committed. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, but even as a Laker fan, I'm not listening to those comments and saying, "Oh well, you know what? Screw you, Bron." Like that never goes through my mind.
This is a guy, like you said yourself, has a great deal of influence inside the building, and if
everywhere he's gone,
for sure. If he's leaning on people to make deals that serve only him, that could be counterproductive to the long-term success of this team, I don't need that. Because what's in his best interest is not necessarily what's in the best interest of the Lakers beyond a year or two. And we've seen with the last couple of years I don't need 2 more years of this. I don't need 3 more years of this.
When you say it's not in the best interest of the Lakers, if LeBron's goal is to win an NBA championship, and that started when LeBron became a Los Angeles Laker, whatever year that he signed, don't they both have the same goal? I know 5 years from now is a different story because Bron's not playing. I don't think he's playing basketball in 5 years. But I think it's more aligned than you think. I think it's more aligned when Bron signed 3-4 years ago, the goal was to win a championship, and they won a championship. I think Bron's quotes, what he's trying to say there is, guys, what are we doing here? Are we just going to sit back and not do anything and not compete?
Yeah, what I heard was, look, if you can't fix this fast, I'm out of here. I'd like to be out of here. If you can't fix it for me, then I'm going to go do it somewhere else. That's what I heard.
Problem is he's not a free agent this upcoming season, so it's not like
it's not easy to move him. You're right about that, but look, this is important. Who is the spine of the team moving forward is important. Anthony Davis, as good as I don't know, man. Who knows? He seems to get hurt a lot.
Yeah.
And to say, okay, he's our guy, I just feel like that's a really bad decision to decide that he's your guy. LeBron is 38 years old. He's playing great, but he is 38 years old, and he's looking across the room. It's very clarifying to me to say, okay, not that you couldn't make some moves now to try to juice this thing a little bit. I just think it's a terrible decision. I would be very, very cautious about trying to cater to his needs.
I like the quote in the sense that maybe it puts pressure, and nothing has clearly happened. We've been talking about Lakers trade since Thanksgiving. We actually talked about Lakers trade since the offseason. Nothing has happened. So either the price has just been way too steep for the Lakers to go make a move and they haven't found anything that makes sense. But I like it in 2 ways. One, either I don't want to use a wake-up call for the front office, or B, maybe it is clarity like you just talked about. If the chapter at some point is closer than you thought, that it is going to turn the page, maybe it brings clarity one way or the other.
Factor Cap coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710
Sliwa. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's time for Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap. That's so cap, Dad. Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact. First of all, it's not a cap. It is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, so my my last trivia question from the last segment was how many NFL players were playing for USC at the Rose Bowl? So there was 35 players from USC that went on to play in the NFL. Playing that night, there was 10 players.
Yeah.
Damn, when she said 35, I'm like, huh?
Yeah, well, that's why I asked the question that's
adding all
that's
the
different.
Freshmen.
But 10 and one, that's
stupid.
They hadn't lost a game in 2 years, Al. You don't win 2 years worth of games by having a bunch of junior college transfers that barely made the team. You have it by having a bunch of NFL players. That's amazing.
The next one might be a little more obvious, but I'll answer the other side as well. But who was the leading rusher for USC that night? All right. Other side, I'll answer that question. So, non-trivia related things. So, a teenager made an emergency landing on a two-way highway in California. So, you think that you could land a plane if you had to. The situation is, pilot's incapacitated. No one else can fly the plane. They have to ask people on the plane to come and land it. You think that you could land a plane? Obviously, you'd have help. You'd have people in your ear. You think you could
I have
land a
YouTube
plane. On. Travis, Factor Cap.
It's a really good idea, by the way. How do I land a 747? Right.
18 minutes.
Yeah, skip to the end. Skip to the end. I would never, ever want to try to do something like that. That goes without saying. But if you had, I don't know, a pilot in the control tower saying, okay, push the red button. All right, take the handle and move it to 45 degrees. Push the green button. Like if you
Can I get some pretzels?
You could just over here. Walk you through it down the line. I mean, I guess I have as good a shot as anybody else on the plane, right? I can read, I can follow instructions. I don't think I would be wanting to. It doesn't. I feel like the green button should go before the red button. I think I'd follow the instructions pretty deliberately. If it worked in airplane, sure, why not?
You got a pilot telling you what to. Nah, I wouldn't do that. I think what I would do is I'd ask everybody to stand up on the plane. I told them all to hold hands, and we'd start singing the Our Father because that's probably it. It's going to end. I'm actually pretty decent at if you said, hey, Al, I want you to follow these steps and these ingredients to make this dish. I'm pretty decent at that. Like, I can kind of follow the steps, follow the plans. Landing a plane, anything like that, it ain't happening for me. I think there's some things I could do that are associated with that. That I'm going to be stressed out of my mind.
Yeah, I'd have a heart attack.
I'm already stressed.
I'd have a heart attack. Hey, we need somebody to fly. And that would be the end of that.
Okay, Travis is out. Let's go to Ryan.
Taylor?
Cap. I think everybody's going to be dead, unfortunately. I think I could get one off the ground. I heard, that taking off is a lot easier than landing, but I think I'd crash in the landing.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't.
We all have a lot of confidence in ourselves.
Well, anyway, radio people, we're not.
Emily
flying
might be able to do it.
I don't think I could either. I would get too nervous. So on this day in 2004, it was a wild card game between the Packers and the Seahawks. It had to go to overtime because both teams were tied in regulation. The Seahawks quarterback Matt Hasselbeck won the coin toss, and he said this.
Seattle has won the toss. We won the ball. We're going to score.
It's the best.
All right, so we won the ball. We're going to score. Yes, exactly. However, Al Harris intercepted a Hasselbeck pass and returned it 52 yards for the game-winning touchdown.
Wasn't it like 2 or 3 plays later?
Yeah,
too?
It
was really quick
in the OT.
It's very early. So this is objectively hilarious. Al and Factor Cap.
It's amazing. Fact like no tomorrow. I mean, I love. Listen, I try to. If I use me as an example, I try to under-promise and over-deliver. And to kind of have a moment where you're on a national stage and you're basically telling the other squad and you're telling the camera and you're telling everybody who's watching that NFL game, I mean, talk about over-promising. Oh, we're going to receive and we're going to score. And the fact that it wasn't a fumble from the running back, the fact that it wasn't, hey, they went 4 and out and then Green Bay got it the other side and scored, I just think it's the funniest thing in the world. I'm not kidding when I tell you, it's one of my favorite quotes in sports because it was so stupid what happened after that.
Well, he's not selling aluminum siding and when they're going to get it done. Right? You don't tell me you'll get it done on a Saturday. And, hey, we're done on a Wednesday. We under-promised or whatever the line is. Athletes are wired different than the rest of us. They always think it's going to work out. Confidence breeds more confidence. Joe Montana has that great story in a different Super Bowl of going into the huddle. They got to go 92 yards in like 2.5 minutes. He goes, "Oh, look, John Candy. You guys ready to do this?" Like, it just calm, cool, collected. Like, I've got this, guys. I'm Joe Montana. The difference is Joe Montana drove the field and found John Taylor for the touchdown.
Joe Montana.
Hasselbeck threw a pick six a couple of plays. It is objectively hilarious. Yes, I love confidence. I love it. Sometimes confidence blows up in your face and you have a disaster, as evidenced by this one. But I really kind of dig it. It was a calamity. It was a disaster. And it's, like you said, Em, objectively hilarious that it went the way it did. But I like that Matt Hasselbeck, like if Baker Mayfield did, he'd be like, dude, you do know that you're not Tom Brady, right? But there are some of those guys that's like, no, I am Tom Brady. It's absurd, but it's awesome.
Isn't that part of it what makes it funny? When Larry Bird walks into the 3-point contest and says, who's getting second, it's Larry Bird. If, some random dude who was sixth on the Atlanta Hawks said it, it's a little bit different.
You guys remember? I can't remember who it was too. It's like, give us the ball, F them, like he said too. Like it was caught on mic as well. I'll go back and find it. Taylor, what about you?
Fact, this is hilarious. I think it's on par with one of my favorite Lakers, actually, Swaggy P, taking that 3-pointer, turning around.
All the confidence in the world.
But isn't that look? It's funny and it's hilarious when they miss, but it's terribly endearing when they're doing it, and especially if it's Nick Young or Hasselbeck, who are just kind of run-of-the-mill NBA and NFL players.
And that's
it's great.
That's the part that makes it so funny.
Exactly.
It's because Steph Curry does that. He turns around and doesn't even bother looking at the basket. He's already celebrating with his guys on the bench. Nick Young does it, and we're still talking about it today.
Yeah, no matter how much I hate him, Aaron Rodgers, when he was asked, "Oh, you're going to play a bunch of teams left to get to the playoff," and he said, "Oh, well, only some of them are at 500." Like, people that call their shots that can back them up is both annoying and
baller.
Guys that know,
and are baller.
They know.
So the Washington Commanders revealed a new mascot called Major Tutty over the weekend. It's a large pink pig that is their mascot because they didn't have one previously. So you would be okay if we did away with mascots entirely. Taylor, Fetcher Cap.
I think they're good for some teams. Like the Kings, they have their lion. They got Slamson.
They have a beam.
It's cute for that, but other teams, I don't know. Like football teams, it just feels weird. This pig, what's a pig have to do with? I guess a pig skin.
Yes, that's kind of where.
Is that where?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And a tutty's a touchdown.
I believe so.
Oh, I've never heard that.
now you know. Now you're on board. You should get like a T-shirt.
If you don't know now, you
with
know.
Major Tutty on the front.
All right, Trev.
I think it depends. Like some mascots are good. The Phoenix Gorilla is awesome.
Amazing.
He's like an acrobat. He does funny things.
Coyote of the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, there are some of them that are really, really good. The
Yeah.
San Diego Chicken is awesome. The Philly Fanatic is awesome. Then there are the Major Tutties and that Chuck the Condor thing
freaking Condor.
that are disastrous.
Yeah.
The Lakers should not have a mascot. The Celtics, the Yankees, the Dodgers. There are teams that should not have them, but if you're the Washington Commanders and you're changing your name every 2 years, why not be Major
minor
Tutty
league
it up?
teams, minor league baseball teams, best mascots because
that's a big part of it.
You got the flying squirrel
Yeah.
and all the crazy stuff. Alan?
All right, so if you're telling me either have mascots or don't have them at all, there's no exceptions to the rule, I'm completely okay with no mascots. I will not lose any sleep if we lose all the mascots. I find it, and it is kind of funny, San Diego, they have the Friar, right?
I like that one.
Yeah, and by the way,
yeah,
it's actually kind of like the vibe when he's around. It's like it's the Friar, right? Like it's not a bad one. But if you said they're all there or they're not there, I'll take they're all gone.
I went to Petco for
no
the
fun.
Holiday Bowl.
Yeah,
great football stadium. It turns out.
Yeah,
it was terrific. It was the first time they've ever had a football game at Petco.
Well, remember last year
awesome.
they were trying to have it last year.
COVID, I think, canceled.
COVID, UCLA.
Right. That's right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's funny when I'm looking at the stadium. I'm like, I think if you get in the back of the end zone, you're in the field level.
Basically, yes. We sat at kind of the right field foul pole. It was a terrific
Awesome.
seat. It was a great time to do it.
Move the Chargers back.
So I will reveal the next trivia question in the next segment is who was the leading rusher for USC during the 2006 Rose Bowl between Texas and USC?
I got a good feeling for that one. I think I'm going to get that one right. Plus, the Dodgers, right after we left Slee, Trevor Bauer had his suspension eliminated. He is active. He is a member of the Dodgers. The Dodgers have to pay him. So what do you do with Trevor Bauer? That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPN LA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPN LA app.
Download the new ESPN LA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
With White, and Lendale walks in. Fred Matua and Brandon Hancock laid powerful blocks to open the door for Lendale White. And it'll be second down.
All right, so that's the answer to the question. The leading rusher for USC.
Lendale White.
Yes. While Reggie Bush did win the Heisman that year, it was Lendale White that led the way with 124 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging 6.2 yards a carry.
Does Reggie Bush get a personal turnover for the... Yeah, he does, right?
For what?
For his little...
His lateral?
Yeah.
That was a disaster, but there was a series of decisions in that game that were weird. Lendale White was killing Texas on the ground. He was having an incredible day, was virtually unstoppable. It was 4 yards a crack, 6, 4, 6, 8,
and that
10,
was his
2.
kind of style, right?
Tough,
Smash mouth.
big, strong, powerful guy. And so I didn't mind the fact that they ran that play on fourth down the way that they did. They've been having success with it all night. The part that is just mind-bogglingly stupid to me, Reggie Bush wasn't on the field. Okay, so I understand not giving him the ball. Fine, whatever.
Okay. Use him as a decoy. Use him in any possible way.
If you take Reggie Bush and put him outside, put him in the slot, you're pulling one of those guys out of the box, maybe 2.
Right.
It's Reggie Bush. You better make sure that somebody's defending. He's standing there on the sidelines. Everybody, the cheerleaders, the band, everybody was in the box right there. There was no chance that everybody in the building knew what play they were going to run. You put Reggie out there, it's different. And that was the part, the lateral, dumb. Their inability to stop Vince Young is a credit to Vince Young and, SC's defense not being up for it at that night. But not having Bush out there for that final play still to this day doesn't make any sense to me.
Did they ever do a 30 for 30 on that game?
Yeah, I said that in the first hour.
You did not say that.
Yes, he did. He did.
Well, hey guys,
they've done
2023, a lot like 2022.
They've done several.
I'll go back to the first hour just to confirm it, like I did with those picks.
It's 100%.
Go
He
ahead.
said it.
What did you say?
I said that NFL Films did a documentary on it, and there's a 30 for 30 on it.
Damn, you said and?
Yes.
The 30 for 30?
Yes.
It's a 30 for 30 specifically about this game, yes. And then also they've also revisited it like a couple years later or like decades later or whatever.
The one the NFL Films did, they
Write
have
it down next time and pass it to me.
I'll send you a shot sheet. It's with Young and Liner. Like they're kind of narrating it along the way and talking about it. That's NFL Films did that one, and it's terrific. It is absolutely terrific. Sitting in a bar watching, I think it was football night, and on the bottom of the crawl, there's the Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer has been reinstated by an arbiter. He's coming back, and he's immediately eligible to rejoin the team. They owe him money for one more year. It's a lot of money, and there was always
22
speculation.
or something like that.
I think it's in the 30s. It's a lot. I'll have to look it up again. But the speculation was the Dodgers kind of had an inkling that this might be coming down, and that's part of the reason that they didn't go spend a bunch of money is because they were going to have to add Trevor Bauer back onto the payroll. There have been reports that there are players inside the organization that are 100% okay with him rejoining the team. I'm sure that there are people that feel the exact opposite as well.
Yeah.
This is as bizarre of a combination of events as you can think of, because here's what it is. Trevor Bauer is one of the best pitchers in baseball. Trevor Bauer is disliked by more people than like him. He has a reputation of being a teammate that is prickly, that's difficult to connect with. I always go back to the story when he came to the Dodgers originally, and they asked Clayton Kershaw, and Kershaw's answer was, well, I like talking baseball with Trevor. I think we all know what that means. He was involved in a legal case that was a he said, she said kind of thing. He was never charged with a crime. The details of the accusation are pretty ugly. But he was
Did not
never
face
charged
criminal charges
with a crime.
Yep.
His teammates, when he was suspended from the team, did not rally to his defense. And yet here we are. Dodgers could use a pitcher. He's a very good pitcher. He's unpopular with some of his teammates, I'm sure. With some fans, I'm sure it would be difficult to see him wear that Dodger uniform again. They may or may not be able to get something. It's a weird mix of events for him. And I'll say it for the third time, he's really, really good. It's a weird spot that they find themselves in.
So this is, I guess, the question I'd ask. I think, and LA Times did do a poll on this, asking, do you want Trevor Bauer back with the Dodgers? And I'm going to let you guess what you think the percentage was.
This is from fans?
This is fans, LA Times. Do you want Trevor Bauer back on the Dodgers? What percentage of fans do you think said yes, bring him back, and what percentage of fans do you think said no?
I'm going to say that I think it's probably pretty close to right down the middle. Yeah. I'd say it's 55-45, get him out of here.
Okay, so it was 51-49.
Okay, yeah.
Keep him here.
Okay.
I think Dodgers Nation did a poll as well. That one was a little bit more. It was like 60+% that said bring Trevor Bauer back. I don't know if it's because of this, but I'm just going to set it up this way. If Walker Buehler was healthy and available to start this upcoming season, if there wasn't a hole that you think that pitching staff coming into this year, I'm not telling you that some of these guys can't come back and be the players that they were, or Dustin May's not going to have a great season, but there are more question marks than I think you've had in previous seasons. If the Dodgers had made a big splash in the offseason, they went out and got a starting pitcher. If you didn't feel like there might be a void in starting pitching for the Dodgers, I don't know if the conversation's different, and most Dodger fans would say, guys, we're good. This guy was a headache from the start. Let's move on from him, and let's just look forward to the upcoming season and take it from there. There's a couple factors into this, because I do think that number, I was reading some stuff earlier today, I think that number that is owed, and maybe it has to do with the amount of games that he was suspended, prorate. I don't know how it works, but I know he missed 194 games out of the 324 is what he served.
Okay.
There's $22 million that is going to be associated with the Los Angeles Dodgers this upcoming year if they release him and he goes.
Okay, got it.
If they release him and he goes.
22.
This could happen. What could happen is they're paying the 22 or $21 million, depending on whoever picks him up, and he's playing for a team that
could beat you.
Yeah. That could happen. So I think you got to keep all these factors into play. Me personally, I would like to see the Dodgers turn the page on Trevor Bauer and move on. But I think there's also a lot of Dodger fans, because of the predicament, the situation, where they sit today, what their starting pitching looks like, that are saying to themselves, no, bring him back. And I don't think it's that much different of a conversation from Correa when we were having that conversation of, I hate the guy, this, that, but can he help me win? And is there a shortstop that is in need? That's kind of how I look at that situation.
It's not dissimilar because it's the same kind of, I don't like him, but he might be able to help me. That part of it is similar. The Dodgers have been very averse to PR problems, right? They don't have a lot of that stuff. That they acted very, very aggressively when they made the decision that when the accusation was made originally, you know what? We're moving on. We suspend him, and then whatever happened after that. This was not a hey, let's wait and see. They moved quick. They opted not to go get Aroldis Chapman a few years ago because he had a domestic violence allegation against him. They're fairly reluctant to have problems where there could be a group of people saying, seriously, you're about this? And the argument could be, well, he didn't get charged with a crime, and that's an accurate argument to be made. But then there's also come on, man, which also is not an unreasonable position to be in either. Sure. It's a really tricky spot. They've opted to avoid sticky situations in the past. Mm-hmm. I think they'll probably opt to avoid it again. The interesting thing is, to use the numbers that you were talking about, the $22 million, you probably can't trade him and get dollar for dollar. First of all, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. I don't know if there is equal value coming back for something like that. But if it's 50 cents on the dollar, if you get a guy or a couple of guys or a prospect or one of these things, that maybe 20 cents on the dollar, 30 cents is better than nothing. It's better than the PR headache that would likely accompany him coming back in the first place. I have a really hard time. Never say never.
Yep.
Never say never. I have a really hard time in my mind's eye seeing him pitch for the Dodgers again.
I agree with you.
It just doesn't feel like that's something we're going to see.
And I almost feel like that's not going to be the popular opinion of Dodger fans. I think there are a lot of Dodger fans that would say, look, I go back to this. If we are going to put sports on this pedestal where you look at the athletes and the league and everything else and say, that's the way every human being should be, we're kidding ourselves, right. Okay? College football is telling it's like just use as an example, the amount of money that they make and the amount of revenue that goes into it. It's a nonprofit. It's like we've all just kind of sat there like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Right.
But I use that as an example to say that I think there are a lot of Dodger fans that would say, well, what's the goal? You trying to win or not? And if a player's going to help you win, wasn't there a story about Correa that the front office was also weighing the fact that there was...
They had their thumb in the air. They were seeing which way the wind was blowing on this.
Which, by the way...
I get it.
I
get it.
actually don't even always agree with that. I think the fans are going to be...
all over the map.
After every game, you do a Rams game, right? How many people are saying, blow this thing up? After a Lakers game, it's like that's a championship year or a year where it's not going well. I think it's kind of fascinating, to be honest with you.
All right, so we got some phone calls on that. We'll get into it. Plus, we'll give you the latest on Damar Hamlin. That's all coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
Rogers, Alan Sliwa, Travis and Sliwa is on. For your Wednesday, we're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We begin 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Thank you to everyone who spent time with us yesterday. A tough day on the radio. We did our best. And we will continue our thoughts and our prayers for Damar Hamlin and his family today. And we'll bring you any information as we get it. Plus, we've got Lakers back on the court tonight against the Heat, hosting them at Crypto. Coverage begins at 5:30 p.m. tonight with the Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off Slee. And then you can hear all the play-by-play. Lakers Heat, Johnny I, and Michael Thompson on the call beginning at 7 p.m. right here, your flagship station of Lakers basketball, 710 ESPN. By the way, speaking of Lakers, I think producer Emily has more details on the fact that Sliwa never paid off that bet with producer Taylor. So maybe we'll get into that today, too, for a Wednesday. Stay dry out there. Stay warm. Let's get to it. Travis and Sliwa, your Wednesday right now.
She does have details on that, but she also, what we have not got into yet, Slee, is that we may need to collect some funds for her because she's having car trouble again. And I did I go like full dad mode on you this morning?
Yes, it was good dad mode, and it was also very helpful and something to consider. Though I did already have this discussion with my dad.
I'm sure you did.
Because, like, whenever something happens and I get the quote, I get whatever else, I kind of know what I need, and then I'll call my parents and just make sure that I'm making the right decision. But, yeah, so after I came home from going back east for the holidays, my car wouldn't start. So this was Sunday morning. It wouldn't start again.
I feel like again is an important part of that story.
Right. Yeah. And it was so dead, I couldn't even open the trunk to get my jumper cables out. So it was like, that's how dead the car was. So my roommate came, jumped my car, drove to work.
Can you jumper cable the trunk?
I don't know why, but I'm picturing like an action movie where it explodes.
What are you doing? Just trying to get the jumper cables.
Yeah. So then I worked the Rams game on Sunday, and then the Rams game on Sunday, we worked the game. I was here probably for like 6-7 hours, whatever, however long it would be. Tyler Whitman, who was our board op for the Rams game, had to then jump my car after the game. Ugh. So that's fun. And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to go get it checked out. The day after the game, the place I go get my auto stuff, it was closed, so I went yesterday. Yesterday, when I told them what was happening, they're great people. I like the people of this auto shop a lot. They seem to shoot to me straight and have been really nice to me when I've gone there. I go.
Well, you're a regular. You should have like a Subway card where they punch you and buy 10 transmissions. Get the
she goes right in the front of the line.
Right,
Emily,
exactly.
where you
and
been?
This is
it's
like,
been 2 weeks.
It's not even just this car. It's been every car that I've driven or owned. And yeah. So then, they check it out. I come back and they say, it wasn't necessarily that your battery is bad. It's that there's something in my door that is not registering that my door is closed. So it is draining the battery while I'm driving and also while I'm parked because my car won't lock. Anyway. So I have to get something on my door fixed. But then they were also like, and your brakes are like 2 millimeters, like all of them.
So. Here's what I'm hearing, Emily. Your car is how many years old?
My car is a 2013, so nearly 10 years old.
Okay, so it's got a 10-year-old car that is undergoing a series of mechanical issues that and routine maintenance issues like brakes and tires and things like this.
Yep.
You need to figure out how much that car is worth. You need to figure out how much the repairs are going to cost you. You need to figure out what you're paying each month for this car and figure out if it actually wouldn't be cheaper for you, because what's going to happen is you're going to replace these things, and 6 months from now something else is going to go and you could be in a different car.
So
Here's the problem, the used car market.
Yes.
You know this.
Used car market, not great.
Sheesh.
Still looking.
And
just waiting for the right deal.
This is you could make me an offer on your car, Emily. I may take you up on this.
Maybe listening. My payment is affordable for me, and that's the main thing for me right now is that I don't think I can necessarily take on a larger amount. But we'll see. I think that I do trust this place. That they're doing the best thing possible. It's not that fault, but it is just car stuff sucks.
Speaking of cars. So got my car back.
You got it back.
Got my car back.
Woohoo!
If I told you now listen, this went through insurance, and there's a clause as part of insurance. If you have like nothing to do with it, this won't go against me, right? It's not going against. My insurance is not going to go up because there was a tire rolling in the middle of the freeway in Irvine that I had no control over. Okay.
Okay.
What do you think?
Sure, there was.
What do you think? I made it all up. You should actually make up a similar story, and your car will be in good shape. What do you think the total damage was when I got my car back?
Would they charge to the insurance company?
Yes. And that includes the deductible. My deductible was $1,000.
$5.
So you got your front fender replaced.
Yep, front fender replaced, headlight, and there was a lot of wiring that was demolished in the process. We got 5 over here. I always wanted to
Did
try
you say
one of
$5
those.
grand? Is that what you said, Emily?
That's my guess.
Yeah, her guess is 5.
Based on what I'm going to have to pay.
That feels about right.
Okay.
I'll go
over or under 5?
I'll go 5,500.
Taylor, any guess over there?
4,000.
12 G's, my friends. It was
What?
$12,000.
Jesus.
It was $12,000. I thought my insurance was going to call me and be like, we basically
Changed our
we could
mind.
set up a foundation for a new home based on these $12,000. We could add a slab of concrete and build a new home. $12,000.
They would give you a new engine, new transmission. What else was
Trunk
in there?
works. Trunk I open it anytime I need it.
Jumper cable
But
free.
I will say it was pretty damn nice to get. You don't have your car for a while. You're accustomed to everything. Get back in the car, feel good.
That is
12 grand.
Absolutely crazy. All right, a quick update on Damar Hamlin, and the quick update is there is not an update.
Yep.
That we are pretty much where we were yesterday, with a couple of very small positive signs that people close to Damar Hamlin, family members and spokespeople have said things like there are promising readings, that's a quote, promising signs of progress, that's another quote, that his oxygen levels have improved. Again, but when you hear that, does that mean they went from terrible to slightly less terrible, or from good to very? There's just not a ton of new information. Still in the ICU, still sedated, and still, obviously in a great deal of medical distress, and we're still waiting to hear what happens next.
Yeah, we'll take that quote, the signs of improvement, and just kind of run with that, and hopefully it's only going to get better as we go along. And did you want to play that?
Yeah, this is from yesterday. Dr. Benjamin Abella, who joined Max Kellerman and Jay Will on KJM yesterday. And to me, Alan, I think you feel the same way. This is reassuring in the way that the lack of information is not atypical.
Yeah, so brain function and survival track pretty closely. And what I mean by that is the longer you're down, the less chance of survival. And if you do survive, the more risk of brain injury. So it's really, unfortunately, going to be touch and go. He was down long enough that there is a significant risk of brain injury. Now, that said, I do this work for a living, and I see many patients in his exact situation make full recovery. So it is at least possible. I can't say probable or not. There's so many factors. For example, the quality of CPR has a big role. What his underlying condition may have been that caused the cardiac arrest will play an important role. So there's many factors that we are not yet fully aware of, and I'm sure the physicians in Cincinnati will be forthcoming in the next few days. I will say this, that brain recovery from cardiac arrest is slow, and I suspect we actually may